next on our agenda is what we are all here for, and that is to hear from our former chancellor, our interim chancellor, Dr. Bill Stewart, and the current chancellor, and Dr. Paul Parnell. So before that, we'd like to give a brief introduction of the who both guest speakers are.
Good evening. We would like to thank our former chancellor, Dr. Bill Stewart, and our current chancellor both for coming to address the educational needs of this community and to further discuss the 485 Measure C bond. We thank you for taking time to come to our community, and we want you to know that you are always welcome. I'll begin with introducing Dr. Bill Stewart. He is our former chancellor of State Center Community College District and was recently the interim chancellor prior to our current chancellor's appointment. Under his leadership, there was an 8% enrollment increase, bond fundraising, successful accreditation, improved fiscal impact, as well as the Fresno Unified and Fresno City College incoming freshman Math and English cohort enrollment pilot program. Again, that is Dr. Bill Stewart. Secondly, I would like to introduce Dr. Paul Parnell. Dr. Parnell earned his PhD in Education, Psychology, and Community College Studies from Oregon State University, his master's degree in Counseling and Psychology from Ball State University, and his Bachelor of Science degree in International Affairs from the United States Air Force Academy. Before leaving Norco College, Dr. Parnell served as Vice President of Academic Affairs at Rio Hondo College of Whittier, California, and as the Dean for Social Behavior Sciences at Chaffee College of Rancho Cucamonga, California in 1993. Dr. Parnell retired honorably from the United States Air Force, and he is currently our State Center Community College Chancellor. After you hear from our Vice President, you will be in the hands of our guest speakers. Thank you.
Okay, in a moment, we are going to invite the both of you up here and to have the chance to address the audience. However, before that, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands the focus of the meeting. We will have, a small opportunity to allow you to ask a couple of questions. However, the focus is to figure out what the plan is and how for the Measure C and the money. But how is that going to affect our students in West Fresno and in the community at large? And then how would that affect the educational component of our students in the community here? Okay? So with that being said, please welcome our guests for this evening.
I'm the newest one, so I'll start first. I'm the warm-up act for the first act here. And he can really sing and dance, and I can't. So, I appreciate, I've met a few of you, not enough, but I appreciate being invited to share about the exciting things that are going on at State Center. And those that I've met, thank you for giving me all the information that you've given me about your concerns and issues. And so it's good to see a few familiar faces. This bond was really designed by Dr. Bill Stewart. He and his staff, and they've been collecting this data for probably 20 years, to tell you the truth, doing strategic planning to come up with the amount. We've got one of our trustees here. Everyone knows Eric Payne, Trustee Payne, and former trustee. I just met for the first time. So pleasure to be in your presence as well. I know what we're planning to spend the money, and I know the focuses, and I can tell you everything that I do know, but it is designed to help every student in this. We have an area the size of Connecticut is our district. It goes into 4 counties, and it has 1 million people, and we have some of the greatest wealth for a few people in the world. We also have the greatest poverty for a lot of people. And there are some great opportunities for us to raise everyone's level. Bill actually was a teacher, a principal. I tell the story. He was a principal with my dad in the state of Oregon. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? And they were, you know who did all the discipline in schools? It was the vice principal. They were both vice principals. And I remember as a little kid, I'd go down the halls and people would be coming running after me to try to punch my lights out because my dad was the vice principal. And so they both we have that common background. So that's really a great heritage for us to share some of those kinds of things, what they went through. They were some of the pioneers in building community colleges in America. So I'm really proud to follow in that same line here. And we've got some great opportunities. We have great faculty, great staff, some of them even here that I've had the pleasure of having some great exchange with. And the more information we get, a lot of things on the table. We can't give you a lot of specific information because it depends on so many things. You'd like to have really firm what it's going to be. We have to pass the bond first, but we certainly plan to engage all of you in the discussions. After this bond is passed, then we're going to need a lot of input as we start building all of the buildings that we plan to build throughout this district. And we plan to help every campus out and the west side. With that as an introduction, that's a good song and dance for you?
I appreciate it very much. Thank you. You can tell us apart, by the way. He is the current chancellor, and he owns a tie and a jacket. I am the old chancellor, and I have neither. I'm sorry I was late tonight. I apologize to you. I've always prided myself being on time, but tonight, Freeway 41 is a parking lot. I don't know if someone already know, but it wasn't that much of a wreck, was it? God, but I tell you, it was shut down. It was a mile an hour. But I'm glad that I'm here as we go along. We started in 2010 in a planning process for the building needs of the district. Dottie was on the board then. Good to see you, Dottie. Dottie and I have been dear friends for many, many years. We started in 2010, and we started a planning process. We've involved the community, we involved our faculty, our staff, as we went along during that period of time, and we eventually isolated out the top priority building needs for the entire district. And they're on your sheet, so I'm not going to go through what's there. I will tell you at Fresno City College, where the majority of our students out of West Fresno do matriculate to, out of Fresno City College, we must replace our math science building that is there. It has asbestos in it. It's sealed off, so it's not dangerous, but it must be replaced. Also, the labs are very old, and they're not what we need for the technology of the future and for the educational needs in our math and science areas. So that is critical. That building must be replaced. I don't know about the rest of you, but after all of these years, and it's Dottie Smith's fault, after all these years, we've got to fix the parking. We just have to. For years and years, we've sold you a hunting permit, not a parking permit. And everybody drives in a circle. And it's time now for us to do something about that, and there's money in the bond to do that. There are also, that campus is now, most of it was built in the 1950s, and there's a lot of maintenance that's required there. There's money in the bond for that. There's money in the bond for the infrastructure to bring those two things up. There's also, again, I'm not going to talk about, they're in there, you can read them, it's well done. I'll answer any questions you have about those as you go along. As that, we have a facility at Annandale. You're all aware of that. It's open entry, open exit, and we have a variety of programs out there. Annandale side has no parking, and if you go out and look at it, it is really pretty, it's almost pitiful. It is time for us to get out of there. It's time for us to get out of that site. The land itself is very valuable, but there's no more land around it to buy. So we're going to have to relocate our fire academy out of there, and we're going to have to relocate our open entry, open exit programs like maintenance mechanic, our body fender, our auto mechanics. We're going to have to relocate those into and they will be brand new and first class facilities, and they will be greatly enlarged. And also they'll have a dual enrollment between our high school students and our college students at that time. That's a very important concept to us as we get out of that particular location. Now, I'd like to tell you tonight exactly where the new location for that is going to be, but I can't because we have 120 acres out on the southeast side, and that's going to have to be decided by the board and the chancellor and the staff at a later time. In the bond, there is money to build, for the first time, a new center on the west side. It will be not a center, it will be a campus. It will be a campus of the Fresno City College. It will be an overflow site out of Fresno City College into that area. Now, in that one, there is money in there to build the building, about a 20,000 square foot building. It is phase one. Hopefully, we will get enough land when the land is bought for us to go to a phase two. It will include parking lots that are necessary. It will include the infrastructure that's necessary, the water, the sewer, the rest of it. That is there. That money is all in the bond. The money is there, and we're doing it. The question is, well, where are you going to build it? Well, we will make that decision after the money comes in. There are several areas that are there. I will not be there and will not be part of the process. These gentlemen will, and you may want to ask them what their thoughts are on that. But I will tell you, in my mind, it ought to be somewhere between Edison High School, the new middle school, and down to Jensen Avenue through that particular region, somewhere in there is where I think that it probably ought to be built. And beyond that, there will be a process put in place in order to purchase the land. There is money in the bond to purchase the land. There is money in it to develop the infrastructure. There's money in it for the parking, and there's money in it for a first-class building. You say, well, first class, what are you going to put in the building? Let me tell you my vision of what will go in there, but there will be people who will be put together out of the community to assist with this process as we go along. There will be in the building transfer courses, and that you'll be able to get most, if not all, of an associate degree out of it to transfer. That it will be there for that. There will also have to be some remediation in the building. I don't particularly like that, but it's necessary. It just has to be. There's going to have to be some remediation courses that are in that particular building. I envision some business courses in there that are open entry, open exit for the people, the same as we have open entry, open exit in auto mechanics and in maintenance mechanics and in body and fender and other programs. I would like to see in there some business courses so that if someone wants to come, we start you on a Monday, we get you to the place you can get a job, and we can get you back employed. I think that that's critical that we get that done. There would, of course, be counseling. There would be tutorial services. There would be registration services, so you can transfer or register there. Now, we will have students the same as we have now that will be taking courses at City College and there. And there will be people there that will be taking courses at City College. Now, City College, by the way, some people have said, well, we want our own, so that's the only place you're going to go. I'm going to tell you, particularly in the first 10 years, if not the first 2 decades of this, is that if you have someone matriculating out of Edison High School or any other high school out of your family, is they probably ought to go to, if they're coming out of high school, to City College. Right. There you have great tutorial services. There you have a great counseling staff. There you have fine departments like our math science and many of the other departments that we have on the campus. We have Simba, we have IDLE, we have a faculty that's very committed there, and that's where you ought to go. We also have athletics, we have drama, we have 20 athletic teams, we have drama, we have music, that's where our health sciences programs are. So if you're going to transfer, that's where you go. That's where you send your young man or woman that is graduating out of high school into that. That is the place. That isn't to say that if you wanted to, you couldn't go there. You could, and you can take your classes there, but that's a better situation for the great majority of the people. Now, however, who will it be really good for? Somebody that's trying to get back into education. Let's just say somebody that's 30 years old, and all of a sudden they've got their family up to a place that they can go to school. They can't take a lot of time to run back and forth, and so they can go over to their local area development and to take the courses they need and to get started there. It will be more like a family, be a smaller unit, it will be more fun. Now, if it fills up and it grows, I envision a second phase at a minimum, and that we would need to, in my mind, purchase enough land to allow that to happen. All right, so that's how I envision this as we go along. Now, I want to answer one other question that people will say, and I hear it out of experience, so I just want to get out in the open before you ask it. How come you gave the people in Oakhurst so much more than you gave us? Let me tell you this. In Oakhurst, the building is going to be about the same size. It's going to be permanent. They're in now portables. They're on the edge of a creek, and part of the portables are sliding into the creek. There is no parking. We must build up there a permanent facility. It will be about the same size and cost about the same amount of money. Now, you tell me, well, is it going to be more there than here? You tell me how much it costs to put in infrastructure on the west side vis-a-vis infrastructure up in Oakhurst. How much is land going to cost on that side of the freeway as opposed to up in Oakhurst? We don't know those kinds of things, so we go along, but we have money in there to purchase the land we need in both places. We have money to provide the infrastructure. We have the money to build out. I can't tell you where the most money is going to be spent between the two. I also will tell you in Oakhurst, there we started in 1989. Yeah, 89. I was the one that started that campus. So that's been there for a long period of time in portables, and we need to move on from there and to get that done. Now, I would be glad to answer any questions we have, or these gentlemen here would really like to be able to answer all your questions.
I just want to make a comment, one right now, is that I'm glad that you mentioned Jensen, because for many years I was saying that Edison wasn't the only high school in West Fresno. I went to Washington Union, and I think when you talk about West Fresno, you have to talk about West Fresno. And it's not just Edison. We need to go, you said Jensen, you probably heard me say that so many times.
Yes, indeed, I have, Dottie.
So we need to think about Southwest Fresno, and we need to talk about the service area, not just Edison. And I'm for Edison. My mother graduated from Edison High School, so I'll have allegiance there. But I'm also talking about West Fresno.
I can tell you, we have a board member here. There's never been any talk of building anywhere except on that side of Freeway 99. So I think that's the parameters, and I would say from Jensen north. And out of that, and there's a lot of land that's available. And of course, we would like to build it where there are, if there's water already available, if there's sewer already available, those things obviously help because they're very costly to develop. Yes, Kahindi, a great instructor, by the way. You're still teaching for us, aren't you?
I was going to tell you, you didn't mention the greatest thing at City College, the best Black Studies program in the state of California. The best. Always, always. So when we leave from Edison, we go right on to our Black Studies program. It's the best in the West. I want to say on
the... not intend to make that less, we intend to build.
I want to say one of the concerns I've had about this, I think it's great idea, super. I hope we can get it up as soon as possible. But we want to definitely see African Americans employed, building on the grounds, inside, etc. We definitely want to see that involvement. And the other thing, we want that building to look first class, like Gaston Middle School. That's the level that we want to see in this community. And so those are my concerns. I think it's a wonderful idea.
I concur with both of those sentiments.
Well, I'd say it should be looking like international. North, I mean, we're gonna build buildings, should be equal looking buildings. Gaston's great, but that international component that you have out there, and when they're comfortable international, I mean, that should be the kind of building you put over for our college students to attend. So it's an equal set building.
No, I think they, I think what, I've seen all those facilities, and one thing about that I've seen here is there's a real commitment, intention to not start the way we did at Willow International and not start the way we did up at Oakhurst, because they started in portables and they started in 4 buildings. We're going to start, so we're going to have a first-class building. We're going to do the same thing with the police and fire, the CTC building, wherever that land might be sited as well, is that they're going to be first-class buildings. We don't want to build things that aren't starting right.
The other thing is that parents of a college should be a college. And if you look at the Madera Center and Bull International Center, those are top line quality, credible colleges that should be visible over on this side of town as well.
Yeah, my point was they didn't start that way, they should have. And this one will start that way.
We're developing that
They're
direction.
building from scratch though. So
No, excuse me, but I do believe that Willow started over there on Herndon, near Willow,
I
and it was
understand.
inside of auto dealership.
I understand that.
We bought a school building that had gone bankrupt. And I was here when we bought that, and that was our original campus there. We're still on it. We have 1,500 students there. So that's how we started there. In Madera, we started in portables.
I understand that. I'm talking about your final product that you have now should look and copy and mirror what you're gonna put over in West Fresno. The final product. I mean, I understand you're starting in portables. A lot of things.
I can't answer there. They can tell you, but I would be terribly disappointed if they put a portable on the site.
Me too.
So would I.
So,
I would be terribly disappointed. And I'd also not want my name with anything that was not very well done. Now, don't anybody, you're not gonna build a Taj Mahal, folks. I'm gonna tell you, you ought to build something, somebody said as good as the Gaston Middle School. Yeah, but you're not going to have something, by the way, that is going to be a, that is in much above what general building codes are for, it's going to be well done, it will be solid, it will be a good looking building, it will be a great asset, and part of that process, we will hire an outstanding architect, they will hire an outstanding architect to get that done, and work with the community in the design of it. Any other questions, concerns? Yes.
Dr. Stewart, thanks for coming out. Dr. Parnell as well. I'm Sylvester Hall. I'm president of Promotions Development America LLC. And I have the 116 acres across the street in front of Gaston and Escrow, my company. And I'm in here tonight with about 4 other members of the Southwest Pacific Planning Committee that have been spending over a year planning the land uses and rezoning of Southwest Fresno in line with the 2035 Fresno City General Plan. And I hear you guys make reference about where the campus may be or may not be in Southwest Fresno. But that planning process between the Fresno City General Plan and the Southwest Pacific Plan has engaged thousands of citizens in Southwest Fresno, not just a small meeting group, to come up with where we believe educational institutions should go, businesses should go, residential development should go, so on and so forth. My question to Dr. Parnell and Dr. Stewart and Trustee Payne, are you guys going to lean to the wisdom of the city of Fresno's multi-million-dollar general plan and the Southwest Pacific Plan's multi-million-dollar effort to help in your effort to determine where your campus should go? Or are you going to just lean on your own studies?
Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Hall, Eric Payne, trustee, representative area 2, the West Fresno, Easton, Kermit, Viola area. I have been a part of that planning process. I too serve on that committee. I've been one of the chief architects and leading one of the subgroups with the Southwest Fresno Specific Plan, as well as sitting on and chairing the District 3 Implementation Committee for Councilmember Oliver Baines. So I do realize the importance and value that you speak of when engaging the Southwest Fresno community. I'm born and raised in Southwest Fresno, graduate of West Fresno Elementary, Middle School.
I worked there.
Yes. And a graduate of Washington Union High School. And you know, the same sentiments. My grandmother is a graduate of Edison, so I realized that there is an opportunity to create a campus in West Fresno. When I was first elected, they said that there would never be a community college in West Fresno. And this is me moving into year 3 of my service with State Center Community College District. And we're fortunate enough to work with trustees like Dottie Smith, who's been a longtime champion of West Fresno and this center. As well as my colleagues on the board. When I made the motion to amend our specific plan, facilities master plan, it passed to include the West Fresno Center with a 7-0 vote. So our district understands that there is a need in this community, and we want to create better educational access opportunities for the residents in this community, because we realize that there are a number of folks, you've heard the reports from Brookings Institute that say the highest level of concentrated poverty in America. And so we're working to change the narrative for those citizens that we serve here in Fresno County.
My question is, are you guys gonna lean to the 2035 general plan and the Southwest specifics plans research efforts to determine where institutions, businesses, and residents should go in Southwest Fresno?
That will be a basic document that will be used, and I think that the new chancellor will put, and I think there's a plan that will come into place to put a site selection process into view, and that the opportunities are there, but that will be a base document.
And I want to also add that the conversations that we have here today don't stop here. We have our board meetings. I've encouraged both Mr. Hall, he's come to our board meetings in the past on a number of occasions, as well as some of the other folks that I see in the room who have been actively engaged in this process. And so I want to continue to encourage those that have not been engaged to get engaged. And you're more than welcome to reach out to myself. I know Debbie Darden and the Golden Westside Planning Committee have been a part of this process. The NAACP has also been a part of this process. Earlier I heard a solicitation from your president to identify members in this body to serve and attend those board meetings. State Center is no exclusion to that. We welcome your participation in this process.
Paul, you have?
I concur with what both of them said. I mean, why would we ignore planning that the city's already done? And I'm not as well versed as they are in that planning, but I would think that we would want everybody at the table and all the plans that have been made. Now, I will tell you, some of the plans have changed from which mayor is in office, and those are interesting as just a newcomer. So I've told everyone, I've had some people already try to offer up land to us, and we've had to say that we'll put it on the table, and we'll consider all the plans, but we need to have input from everyone as we make our recommendations to our board. I don't think we'll ignore anything.
I just want to add this too in terms of classes and a site in West Fresno. This is not the first time that this has been talked about. As a matter of fact, Dr. Stewart can affirm this, that we have offered classes through the State Center Community College in West Fresno.
Yeah.
And the thing that was our problem is that offering these classes through the years is getting people to attend the classes. So we get the site built, but we need the folks to attend. And all of us in here, we understand the importance of education. And we also understand if you want one, I don't care if you live in Timbuktu, you're going to get to where the education is being offered. So as we continue to talk about a site in West Fresno, we need to also talk about engaging our folks.
Right.
You have something here, you need to take advantage of it. And so that's what the essence is, because we had to stop the classes some years ago in West Fresno because folks didn't attend. So we need to be real, and we need to think in terms of what are we going to do to make sure that if we have a first class building, like you say, that we have first class folks in it, or whatever kind of folks are gonna be in it, that they actually use it. And so we have, it doesn't stop here, you're right, Mr. Payne, but we as a community need to make sure that the folks know that this is offered, and also that they have to be the vital source, because what has happened when you said about there would never be anything in West Fresno, some of that came out of the fact that we did try to do things and people did not do what they were supposed to do. Also, through Fresno Unified, we also tried to have classes at Fresno Unified and had those at Second Baptist, not Second Baptist, but Reverend Reagan's church. Folks didn't show up. So we can talk, but we need to walk to make sure that the folks do what they're supposed to do, so people can't say they don't want it, or they're not interested, because we are definitely interested, because as a people, we know the importance of education.
I think regards to the last comments, that there was oftentimes not the appropriate type of outreach and information provided to the community so that students would be aware and feel
That's what I
welcome
was gonna say.
at those locations.
People need to know.
I think that our community is like any other community and has the student body who will be interested and who will go to a facility that is welcoming and ensuring them that they're getting the quality education. So the problem is not that it will not be filled up, utilized by our community. The problem is getting the right facility here in our community with the right type of instructors, the right type of commitment to allow the students to know that they are welcome and wanted and that their educational process can continue here within their community as well as, well, City College.
Amen.
And just to piggyback on what you're saying, what's happening, and my kids are a good example of that. They go to Fresno City, they register, they got a class at Fresno City, they got a class out at Willow National, and they got a class over in Madera because they're trying to get through. Hopefully the facilities here will bring the same type of, oh, I can't get it over here. So no matter who the student is, that student will receive the education they need no matter wherever they have to go to get it.
Now, we have had, by the way,
So,
thousands of sections since I came back 2 years ago. You shouldn't be hearing as many complaints now, is that we have really filled out our curriculum. We have grown 15% in the last 2 years. And we're one of the few big college districts in the state of California that did it.
Hi, my name is Mike Honda, and I am a current student at Fresno City College. And so I just wanted to come to this meeting so that way we are impacted, where I am a reentry student of 3 years, and I currently live in Southwest Fresno. And it is a hardship to go to Fresno City campus every day. You know, we don't have proper transportation to get to school a lot of the times, a lot of students. I am currently running for senator of the Fresno City campus for the Social Sciences Division because that is important to me. I am a social work major. I'm trying to understand this whole concept of getting our young people back. And we talked about getting the reentry students. We have a lot of older students of that age who actually live in the downtown area, who are veterans, who are impoverished, who are disenfranchised. And so that would actually bring back the reentry students back to that campus. So building that Southwest campus is very important to, especially people who are, like I said, marginalized, who actually need that campus. And it's very, very important to get that because it's hard. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. And so as a student, I just wanted to come and address that part for us, so that way everybody in the community knows that I'm a student and I'm affected by not having the campus for our community every day. And it's that part that we really need, this part of that in Southwest
I think
Fresno.
both, that's what Dr. Stephen, while they're there, and so we have to look at a lot of things. We'll probably be building that second building a lot quicker than we think. If we're successful. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we were coming back again?
That is one of the best, with the African American faculty and staff, they are one of the most supportive people on our campus. For not just just not African American students, but the whole staff, a whole community of students involved, actually. So I really want to thank them because they are that. Without them, I would not be possible. I would not be here speaking to you. So again, I thank these people. I thank these people, and I thank you. And you're going to make me cry.
Thank you.
I want to go back to something that was being said about the building. I went to the groundbreaking of the opening up of Fulton Mall, and then also the high-speed rail. And we talk about minority contracts being given out. And you're saying, what we're saying is we want minority contractors and buildings, and we sit up here and we say, yeah, we're gonna do that, and yeah, we're gonna give them this contract, and then I'm back in the meeting 3 years from now and it's not even happening. Okay, so in this bond that we're passing, I don't know if this concept is still out there, but I'm tired of going to meetings when we say we're gonna have minority contractors, minority hiring, minority this, and it doesn't happen. So I guess what kind of assurance are you putting into your program for building these buildings that's gonna give us the minority contractors that we need to see?
I think one of the things that I'm doing as trustee is at our last board meeting, I've been working with our local chambers, both the Hispanic and the Fresno Metro Black Chamber and the Greater Chamber, to have conversations around how do we implement policy to ensure a supplier diversity program, to where we're not only hiring those people of color through the unions, but also those small businesses. And whether you're a contractor or you offer a professional service like an accounting firm or something like that, we want to be able to give you access to the resources that we have as a small business. Having that conversation with our board is going to be imperative to move this item forward. And both Dr. Stewart is aware of me speaking about this on a number of occasions and working with the administration to address a successful supplier diversity program in our system.
I would like to say this on behalf of FCC. I'm a trustee on a nonprofit that's called Voice. We have a program called Gladiator. Here about 2 months ago, we initiated our first cohort at FCC for a pre-apprenticeship program, and that program was very successful. We're now applying for 3 other grants that we should receive relatively soon, and we plan our second and our third cohort. So we are addressing the fact that we need people of color to be contractors. We are telling our young people that come to us, we want them to get the training from the right training for the right people, but we got to make our jobs, got to be community-based, they got to be zip code specific. We got to demand that we all step up and be a part of the right thing so we can, when these jobs come, when these buildings are built in our neighborhood, that people that from the community have these jobs. And we're doing our job as a nonprofit and trying to train these people. So pretty soon we'll be announcing our second and third cohort, and we'll be giving the people opportunity to sign. But FCC has a partnership with us, and we have had our first graduating class from there. Yeah. I want to say that, amen.
Okay, I'm gonna ride this coattail a little bit, a lobby for myself a little bit more tonight, Dr. Parnell, okay? And what happens is, I'm a West Fresno 65-year family. As young Trustee Payne shared earlier about his history in West Fresno, and I kind of trumped that about 30 years. Actually, where he lives, my family used to own that part of North, okay? And we had the first nightclub there in your neighborhood in 1955, okay? So that's how far I go back to the hood, okay? And I graduated from Madison, went to Kirk, and went to Lincoln, and so on and so forth, okay? Like yourself, so I'm totally vested in this community.
Absolutely.
Probably more so than most folks, because I put my money into it. Okay? And that's what really lets people know where you're at when you put your last dime into something. Okay? And that's what Sylvester does. Okay, so having said that, to ride President Kemper's coattails, and how do we as a community of people start to leverage all the hard work that you all folks been doing when we got a great organization like this that could spearhead, and we have a young trustee like Trustee Payne that could oversee it for us. We have a Fresno City College campus being proposed in Southwest Fresno, okay? And the reality of it is, everyone knows it should be going in that general area that Dr. Stewart talked about, okay? But it just so happens that some of your own community people own substantial property in that area and can control the development and can control the hiring. But our own people ain't even knocked on my door. The people in this room, and say, brother, look, let's make sure that the campus comes over there so we can build 160 houses behind that. Brother, let's make sure the campus comes over there so we can build 316 mixed income apartments, multi-family behind the campus. Let's make sure the campus comes on the 116 acres so we can now build 230,000 square foot of retail to provide 500 community jobs, okay? So that's the leverage that we got to do. And these are the windows of opportunity that are there. My name is Sylvester Hall. I'm president of Blue Ocean Bank of America. I'm from Southwest Fresno, and y'all need to come talk to me about how we make sure we take advantage of the tremendous opportunities on the table now. Okay? All right? And let's get with it. All right? Thank you, Dr. Parnell. Thank you, Trustee Payne. Dr. Stewart.
Okay,
Go ahead. No, it's your turn.
No, actually, I was just going to ask if there were any more questions. Because
I had a comment that I need to make that is really important.
Thank you.
That is, on June 7th, we're going to be voting The absentee ballots come out the 7th of May. If you have not registered, and I'm sure all of you in here have, and all of your family and everything else, make sure you are registered, and then do the same thing as I'm going to do, and that's to vote early and vote often. So I will be showing up a lot that day. But anyhow, I'm kidding you, but I'm telling you, we all need to turn out. The next thing I'm telling you, we're right in the middle of the campaign. It's going well. We're working really, really hard. We need some locations in West Fresno for signs, particularly the 4x8 size signs that let people know what we're doing. We also have lawn signs.
I own some property out there.
All right, make sure we get your address.
Elmer Jensen, the Larrows, right on the corner.
All right.
45,000 cars a day.
All right, and any of the others that have it, and then we, yard signs, anyone from the colleges has had access to them, any of the people that are here, we could do that. But make sure you're registered, make sure you vote. Again, if we don't pass it, it doesn't make any difference. We can sit here and plan forever, but there will be no money. But if we do pass it, there's plenty of money to do a first-class job and get it done. Yes?
That's a question that I wanted to ask you when the measure came up for the increase for the zoo and all that, and that they had a hard time getting that started, but once it got started, the zoo, the money for that's going on there, it's really nice now, everybody loves it, but I don't remember it passing right away, because I think it had some problems. I wanted to ask what the increase is for taxes and where
Okay, on this one here, what it would cost on $100,000 will be $18.50. If you own a $200,000 home, it will be $38 a year. It will cost you about the same as a cup of coffee, Starbucks coffee a month, or it's 17 cents a day. So most people can afford it. Most people I'm talking to say, hey, that's a reasonable amount, and it gets done everything that I've talked about, and it's on that sheet. Now, again, you got to remember, we're as big as Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, and we have 1,100,000 people that live in our district. So, you know, we are a very large, we have 50,000 students, we have 3,500 staff, and we have 27,000 students at Fresno City College, 27,000 on 38 acres. And by the way, we've got to get some relief, and by this would be one of the relief valves that we have will be this West Side campus.
Also, it's yes on Measure C, C for community college. So we can see it on the ballot. And if you need a yard sign, as he mentioned, you can contact the district, but I also think Dr. Parnell has a couple in his car tonight.
You can't contact the district.
Oh.
That has to be done. We have a private committee, there can be no taxpayer money.
Contact Dr. Stewart. Right. So you can, if you need one, if you're interested in having one, we can get you one this evening.
And I will get one for the Valero station, and I'll also get a big sign.
I want a big one down there.
4x8, 4x8.
4x8, don't want that little.
2 4x8.
2 4x8s,
Yeah.
and all of that, we'll come and put them up, and we'll come and tear them down.
Okay. I'll maintain them, All
right.
And so, that being said,
I just want to let you guys know that our media person is Miss Julia, and her husband here. She has a radio station and a TV station, so she will be covering this. So you guys need to know who she is, and she is the chair of our media. And I want you guys to know that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to one more time thank our guests for coming, taking time out of your business schedule, addressing us, and showing us that we are important people to you all. So again, thank you very, very much for coming, spending your time with us this evening. Please give them a round of applause.
If you don't mind, I'm going to go clean up.